Okay, we're going to be moving on to question 1E. Okay, so TTS have introduced a new pay structure for the company. The pay scale is used to determine the pay using TTS pay_scales.csv. So open this file and inspect the data. So let's open up this file here. If we go back to my folder, so it's going to be this file here. So let's double click to open it. So as you can see, we've got a pay grade, and then we have many columns. Okay, so 1 to 9. So these are the pay grade levels. Okay. So in your TTS merge file, insert formulae in a pay column to display the pay for each member of staff. Okay, so let's go back to here. So it looks like we're going to be using the pay scale, this information here. So if I zoom in, okay, we have letters at the first character is letters. So C, B, A, which is going to correspond with these values here. Okay, so we are going to be using the first characters as a lookup match for this first column here. Okay. The second character is numbers, so 3, 1, 9, 5, and they correspond to these columns here. So the pay grade level. Okay, so basically each employee will have a different pay grade level according to the second character. So when I'm completing a VLOOKUP, we're not going to be looking up in one column, we're going to be looking up in different columns according to the pay grade level, okay, which is the second character. So I'm just going to zoom back out again. So I'm going to do this in two sections. Okay, first of all, I want to identify which column we're going to be using as a lookup column. So the function I'm going to be using is the match function. Okay, so the match function will basically match up this number to this column here. So if the pay grade is C, and actually let's go back to this. So, so C3. So C3 should provide us with this number here. So we're in the third column, looking up the character C for the pay grade. Let's look at another example. Let's look at this one here. So B will be the lookup value. Okay, and the column we're going to look up is 27, or it'll be this column here, and to get this value here, so 27,600. So before I start, I'm going to try and match up the column, and then I'll build up the VLOOKUP around the match function. So first of all, let's work out the column. So equal match. So returns the relative position of an item in an array that matches a specified value in a specified order. I'm just going to click up here and do the match up here. So what is it that we're looking for? So basically looking for the value on the right. Okay, so I'm going to, and it's a value we need to extract, because as you can see it's a letter and a number, but because in the other table it's just numbers along the top, so we have to extract this number 3 as a value. So if I type in value, converts a text string that represents a number to a number. Okay, so then I need to select right, returns a specified number of characters from the end of a text string. So from this text string, one character, number of characters, just want one character. Okay, I'm going to close my bracket until I get back to the main match function. So this is what we're looking up. We want to extract the right character, the first character, and there's only one character on the right, as a value, so it's going to be changed into a number format, so it matches up, comma, so lookup array, so this is in this table here, and I want to highlight from this column here, pay grade, going to the end. Okay, because when I did a table array, it's going to be from this column, and the table will be from here to here. So because it's an external sheet, you'll notice absolute cell reference is automatically done. So this is a lookup array, comma, and I want to the exact match. Okay, close the bracket, end. So why have we got 4? Okay, so it's C3. If I go back to Excel, we've got 4. So 3 is in this column here, but it's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's the 4th column of what we'll highlight. Okay. We've got B1 here, so B1, so let's see where 1 is. 1 will be in the 2nd column. So I'm not gonna replicate the function. I'm now going to do the VLOOKUP part. Okay, so let me just click back on here again. So equal VLOOKUP. Now for the lookup part, we said we're going to use the first character on the left, so which is the C. So if I type in left, this text, comma 1. I want to close the brackets until I get back to the lookup function. So comma. So now the table array will be, again, it will be here. I want to select the whole table, comma, and this match is the column index. So it's basically going to look up the value, and it's going to match now to the correct column. So I'm just going to come to the end here. So we've got a column index, comma, and we want the exact match. So if it's B and the pay grade is 4, we're going to receive this output here. So I'm going to close the bracket. So C3 should give me 28,400. So if I press enter, yes, that's what I've achieved. Okay, so I'm going to drag this function down. Okay. So before I continue, just let me repeat. So we used to pay scale. We used the first character as a lookup value, which matched up the data in this column here. Okay. The table array was this whole table here. And then the column index, we used the second character. We had to convert it into a value. So we matched up with these numbers here, so to give us a specified item on this list here, so in a specified order. Okay. Let's go back to the question paper. So before I move forward, I'm just going to do a print screen. So if I go to my evidence document, so 1E, let's go back. What was the title again? Pay. Okay, I'll just do a quick print screen. Actually, I want to show the formula along the top. Okay, as we can see, that's a method here shown. Let's press save. Okay, so display the pay column as euros with no decimal places. So I'll highlight from the top, I'll go down, currency, euro, and we want to remove the decimal place. So what we can do is we can right click on these cells, format cells, Okay, so no decimal places. So that removes the decimal place. So display the pay column as euros with no decimal place. Right, I'm just going to press save. Okay, we're now going to be moving on to the next question, F, 1F. Okay, for each branch, display subtotals for the total pay and the average pay. So let's look at the Excel. So you'll notice the branches are in order. Okay, so all the branches are grouped together. So what we want to display is subtotals for the total pay and the average pay. It's basically up until to this point here, we need to have a subtotal for the total and the average for each branch. Okay, members of staff on the e-pay scale are members of the company executive. Their pay must not be included in the subtotals, but the data must not be deleted from the spreadsheet. So members of staff on the e-pay scale are executives. So anytime we see an E, basically we don't want to use their data. So as you can see, there's an example of an E down here. So let's just check one thing first. Let's check how many in total staff members we have. So we have 151 in total. So what we can do, we can use a filter to remove anything that contains P. So highlight the top row and apply the filter. Okay, so for pay scale, what we can do, we can click here, text filters, does not contain E. Okay, and now if I highlight from here to here, let's have a look. We're down to 148, so we've lost some records. Right. Okay, so now let's display the subtotals. Okay, to display the subtotals, if you go to data, and if you select subtotal on the right hand side. So what you want to do is we want to find out by branch. So display subtotals for the total pay and average pay for each branch. So if I select here, at each we're going to change after the branch. So basically when we get to this part, it's going to change over. And we want to sum the pay. So if I press OK, you'll see we have a total here after each branch. Okay. What we also want to include is the average pay as well. So again, if I go to subtotals, replace the current subtotals. No, I don't want to replace. Okay, I want to include an additional, and this time I want to include the average. Okay, so as you can see, for each branch now we've got the total pay, and then the average. Sorry, the total pay is this one here, and then the average pay is this one here. So if we go down, we've got the average at the top and the total below for each branch. Okay. So I'm just going to press save. We are going to be printing this at the end, so that's fine. So save the spreadsheet, so we can save it in a current format. So save. Okay. The subtotals for each branch should be recorded in a branch analysis file. So let me open up the branch analysis file first. Okay. Okay, the data in this file must update automatically and reflect any changes to staff pay. So if I go back to this branch analysis. So as you can see, we need to include the total pay here for each branch and then the average pay, and it has to be reflective of the data that is in this sheet here, using these totals here. So if something was to change here, automatically it would change in the branch analysis. So what I'm going to do is, if I select or enter equals, I'll go to the first sheet. We want to equal the Antwerp total. Okay. And I'm going to change, I'll do the formatting at the end into the correct currency. So it's basically, it's equals, it's looking in that TSS merge sheet for this particular total. Okay. So we just have to repeat this step. I'll say total equal, let's get a Porto total equal, let's get the Barcelona total now. Okay. I'm just going to pause the video at this point, and when I've completed the average pay as well, if I just do one average pay and then we'll come back to the video. So the average pay is the same thing, so if I go to back to this main sheet, so the average equal, and then we just press enter. So it's the same method. So I'll pause this video now, and then when I come back you'll notice all of this data will be complete using the same method as shown. Okay, you're now joining me back. If I go back to the branch analysis, you'll notice the totals appear here, so reflective of the data in the other sheet, and also the average. I'm going to format using the same method of formatting as previously, so euros, and I'm going to get rid of the decimal places, so format cells, no decimal places, just like we did before. Format cells, so you can right click to get the options up to format cells. Okay, so the next step, actually before we move forward, so let me just show the formulas. I'm just going to do a print screen of this, place it into our evidence document. Okay, so this is one, is it F? Let me just double check to confirm. It's G. So 1G, okay, so 1G totals and average pay for each branch. Okay, I'm just going to crop just to show the method used. And I'll increase the size. Okay, let's press save. Let's take the formulas off. Right, so next question is, so we're on H now. So create a chart displaying both the total pay and the average pay for each branch. So label the chart appropriately, display the average pay values. Okay, so create a chart displaying both the total pay and the average pay for each branch. Right, so if I go to here, what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a new heading. So total, actually I'm just going to, don't need to copy, just going to type it in, total. Let's move it to here, average. Right, so I'm going to copy the branch names again, so copy into here, this column here, And what I need to do is basically take these as values, so copy, and let's paste them as just number values. Okay. Let's take the averages as well. So now the data is in one table after I paste this. So now we can create a suitable graph. Okay, so create a chart displaying both the total pay and the average pay for each branch. Label a chart appropriately. Display the average pay values. We're going to save the branch analysis file at the end. So to make a chart, I'm going to highlight this content in this table, including a branch. If we go to insert, because I want to compare these values to the average, the best chart to use is a bar chart. Okay. And then what we can do is we can change the legend. So series 1 shows the total, series 2 shows the average. So we can change that. So if I right click and select the data, series 1 edit will be the total, and series 2, if we edit, will be the average. Okay, and we want to include suitable titles. Okay, so we go to layout, so I need to include a title above. Okay, one on a vertical axis and one on a horizontal axis. So here we can use branch. You can just say pay. Okay, and for the chart title, I'm just going to copy and paste this information here. So total pay and average for each branch. I'll just change the title. Okay, I'm happy with that. So then we could just adjust the size if you wanted to. Whoops, not too big. There we go. Okay. So let's save this file. So actually, I want to save as, the method we use here. So as an Excel workbook, 5, 6, 7, 8 for the center number, and then candidate number 1, 2, 3, 4. So as an Excel workbook to maintain any functions or formulas you may have used. Okay. So before I move forward, I'm going to place this into the evidence document as well, the graph. So 1G, 1H, just to show the pie chart, or the bar chart has been completed using the correct values. Okay, I'll press save. Okay, I'm just going to check I've completed everything. So I think the chart was labeled appropriately. The one thing I forgot to do was display the average pay values. So if I go back to here, and I'm just going to highlight the average, which is the red bars. If I right click, add data labels, you can see the values have been included. So let me just replace this graph with the graph I included here. So I'll delete this graph here, and then we just replace. As you can see, we've included the values as well. Right, so I'll press save. So just before I complete the last question of this section, I want to go back to the subtotal, so question F. Let me just go up to one. So Okay. I want to include some evidence for the subtotals. Now we are going to be printing the spreadsheet off, but just want to include some evidence for the subtotals as well. So 1F totals. Okay, so in the exam it's not really clear what needs to be evidence. I will be going through the mark scheme at the end of the exam. So as you can see, this is from the mark scheme. Okay, so and we will be looking at a mark scheme so later on. So I want to show basically the functions which we use, or the formula view. So show formulas. If I go to the end, I want to show basically this information here. So print screen, and we can crop, and we can show the information. I'm not sure if it's going to be visible enough, so maybe here that's maybe we can get rid of that part, and then we can include, just increase that so we can see the subtotals along the bottom. Maybe we can just get rid of this because we will be printing off the formulas. Okay, so we can see the method which was used. So if I press save, so that's the method used for the average pay to receive this data from the other sheet. This is the bar chart to compare the total pay and the average pay for each branch. Okay, so the last question now. In your evidence document, answer the following question. What is the difference between a spreadsheet formula and a spreadsheet function? Okay, I am going to refer to the mark scheme for this question. So, the difference between a spreadsheet formula and a spreadsheet function. So, a function is a built-in calculation or operation, so predefined option to complete a specific task. It may be if you want to sum up a total range of cells or find a maximum number of cells, or you want to look up a value. So that's a function. It's got predefined operation. So let me just copy and paste this into my evidence document. Okay, that's the first part. And then the second part is, if I go back to the mark scheme, a formula is entered by user and may consist of several functions and operations. Okay, and we'll take two examples in a moment. So give an example from each of your TSS merge file. So a function may be the subtotal function, which had a predetermined task to add up all the values. Okay, there's many other examples of using functions in this particular task. So if we go back to the evidence, that was the first one. Okay, and the formula, we said if I just increase the size of this so it's easy to read. Let's make the same font. Okay. A formula is entered by the user and may consist of several functions. Okay, so the best example we can give for that is this one here. This formula used to generate the email address. So we have the function included, so the left function, which was used to extract the first character of the first given name. So we can copy and paste this into here. Okay, so then we just press save. So at the end of the exam, you would print off the evidence document. So I'm just going to refer back to the mark scheme at this point, as we discussed at the start. Okay, so as you can see, I've been evidencing as we go along, because just trying to link it back to the mark scheme, trying to make it as easy as possible for the examiner to mark your work. So this was, if I go to the first file, so as you can see, by completing the evidence, the examiner will have plenty of evidence to see to give the marks appropriately. So the column headers as well. What I'm going to do is let me go back to my evidence document. I'm going to replace this print screen actually with the updated print screen, which included the date. If I go to the top, so this information here showing that we formatted these two cells in the correct format. Okay, so let me just take that print screen again. So at the end, we should be checking all of our print screens and evidences. We should be checking for any mistakes, and if you do come across any mistakes, then we can always update them. And if you do print and you still find there's a mistake, then you're welcome to print again. Okay, so we can see the first cell's been merged and then the second set of cells. So if we go back to the mark scheme again, this was a method to create the email address. So let me just go up a level first. Okay. Okay, so creating an email address, as you can see, yep, I've got the method, it's clearly shown here. Okay, and then if we go back to the mark scheme again, you'll see the questions relating to the duplication of the email addresses, so that's been answered here as well. So as you can see, this is where you're generating all of your marks for the evidence, and then the method used to generate the payroll number. So I'll go down for the mark scheme. So this is for the payroll number. Okay, and as you can see, it's a print screen taken, so that's why I've also been including print screens into my evidence document. Okay, and then for the pay scale, well, for the pay, again, including a match function to look up the relevant column. If I go down, you'll see it seems like there's another print screen taken, so that I've done the same thing in the evidence document. So I've tried my best to match up the evidence document according to the mark scheme. Okay, so here we have all of the values. Okay, the method shown here as well. So if we go down, you'll see trying to match up the data. Here's my bar chart. So again, let's go to the, and it looks close enough. Yep, happy with that. Okay, and then that's the last two questions. So at the end of the exam, you will be printing off your evidence document. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to print off this sheet. So if I go to File and Print, I'm going to print off landscape. There's no specific guidelines. I want to fit, well, custom scaling options. Fit sheet 1 page wide, maybe 2 pages tall. It may be better if we go portrait actually. Let's have a look, portrait. Yep, so that's got all of the data, so it'd be worth printing this off. Then if you change to formula view, show formulas, so you want to show all of your formulas in full, make sure nothing's cut off. Okay, we can reduce some columns if necessary, and then increase some columns as well. So then it'd be worth printing this off as well. This time we can change to landscape, and we can see again it's the same settings. So custom scaling options, 1 page wide, 2 pages tall. Now when you do print formulas, it makes sense if you click on sheet to show the row and column headings when you're printing the formulas. So you've got the numbers along the top, and then the letters across the top, and the row numbers down the side. So okay, let me go to custom scaling options. So 1 page tall. I don't think it's fitting, so change it to 3 pages tall. Okay, so that's fine. So as long as the data is clearly visible, then I would also print off the formulas. Okay, so I'm going to press save. I'm going to close this one down. This one also can be printed, so if you go to print, so let's just click anywhere actually. So print, let's change to landscape, fit sheet on 1 page, so we can print this off. So I forgot to mention, let me just open up okay. So if you, before you do print, this is a silly mistake from me just now, make sure we've got the candidate number here, but include in a header or in a footer your name as well. Okay, so only print when your name is in a header or footer, so view, normal. So if I do go to file and print, you'll see the name is in the header. Okay, so remember when you're printing the values off, you don't need to show the row and column headings. If I go back to the other sheet, so before printing this again, so let me just put my name into the header. Well, actually, you'll see at the top of here, let's include my name details here. So five, 6, 7, 8. One, 2, 3, 4. So now this one's ready for printing. So we're going to go file and print. So we can print like this, show on the graph, and then we can show the formulas. And this time, you know, let's just select the cells showing the formulas. We only want to print this selection here, so we go to file and print. If I change that to selection, as you can see the names at the top, and then you can print this off as well. Okay, so just to finish off, make sure the evidence is complete. Make sure, if you can, include print screens of your functions and formulas. At the end, print off your values, including your name in the header or in the footer, and also print off your formulas as well, making sure all of the data is fully shown, so you're not cutting off any formulas. Okay, thank you for spending your time watching this video. Please support the channel and subscribe below. Thank you for your time. Hopefully I will be making more videos. Thank you very much.